Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. It should have never gotten to the point that it did, but you can't deny that that was a fun game. It was very entertaining. It was absolutely wild. The fact that the Sixers found a way to tie it up was outrageous. Things got ugly down the stretch. You're talking about 2 field goals in a 7-minute span in the fourth quarter, yet they plucked away, and Joel Embiid really was the difference maker. He was the guy that stole the basketball game. That third quarter is where it began. He scored 20 points. He was 8 of 8 from the field. He also knocked down his free throws. He found ways to score at will, whether it was the mid-range game, Euro, step-in, contact, and still finishing. It was insanity, outrageous. Joel Embiid was a nightmare for the Heat. Now, let's look at it objectively here. The Miami Heat were missing a ton of players. The Sixers were as well, but the difference is the Sixers had Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and I will get to Ben Simmons as we continue to break down what happened because he sucked. He was frustrating, he was irritating, and I don't know how much longer I can put up with this nonsense. But like I said, I'll get to him. Let's start out with the good. Let's start out with the fun, and it was absolutely Embiid. I mentioned the third quarter. You could see his face. He was making a damn statement with the body language, with the facial expressions. I'm not fucking around anymore. I'm done with this bullshit. Give me the basketball. Let's go win. Seriously, though, you could tell when they zoomed in after a bucket or when they zoomed in after he made a free throw, it was almost as if I'm done with this nonsense. I can't believe we're down right now. I won't allow it. It's unacceptable. I will not agree with the people that say, well, look how impressive this is because it's coming off of a back-to-back. No. He played 20 minutes last night because it was so putrid and they were getting blown out that this is not being an elite dominant player in back-to-back games. If he put up 30-something last night in a game where he was a high-volume shooter and he was battling going to work and then did it again tonight, then I would agree with that mindset. But that wasn't the case, so I can't pretend that's how it all played out. But he sure was damn special in this one, finishing with 45 points, 16 rebounds, 5 steals, and 4 assists as well. When he was getting double-teamed, triple-teamed, and hell, it felt at times quadruple-teamed, he found Danny Green in the corner. He found Isaiah Joe from the perimeter. Danny Green was such an important piece to victory, knocking down 3 shots. It's a shame he couldn't get that 10th. You kept hearing the voice of Mark Zumoff after every release down the stretch for history! Brick. Damn, come on, Danny. But Danny did do some little things, the tiny things, the veteran things late, whether it's getting a rebound and putting it back up. I mean, he was doing a lot of things other than knocking down shots late, which was absolutely a big part of coming out with that victory, coming out with that win. They didn't deserve to, but seriously, they squeaked it out, and it was nuts. Before overtime happened, it was insane. So Maxey was in the game with 5 fouls because Ben Simmons fouled out of the game. And yes, the referee sucked, but the refs sucked for everyone. That's not an excuse for what Ben Simmons put out there on the floor with the sloppy turnovers, with the 2 field goals. He had 1 shot. 1! Through 3 quarters. Yeah, he had 9 assists. I know what he does when it comes to facilitating. I know what happens when Danny Green runs to the corner and he finds him. You need more. So much more. Going up against this Miami Heat team, the fact that they can build a wall with those players, look, no knock on those players because they were battling hard. They left everything out there on the floor, that Miami Heat team did. But they should not be able to stop Ben Simmons with just building a damn wall. It's an embarrassment. But getting back to what happened before overtime, that made this what it was. Tyrese Maxey in the game, a young player, ball in his hands down the stretch. Now, the offense struggled big time, but he knocked down a deep three. From there, Hero hits some free throws. Maxey turns the ball over on the other side, which leads to a Hero three, and all of a sudden, the ball game is tied. I was not happy. I was very disappointed in this moment. Easy two for Miami, followed by a nice pass by Hero for an easy alley-oop. The Heat are up 4. All of a sudden, the Sixers were absolutely falling apart. Danny Green gets a turnover, but Isaiah Joe with a monster three-point shot. And then what ends up happening is the Miami Heat foul, which allows the Sixers to get a play to Joel Embiid, and he knocks down one of his famous mid-range jumpers that's so beautiful and looks electric. So it's a tied basketball game, and then the Miami Heat at the end of the game in regulation had a chance to draw up a out-of-timeout play or out-of-bounds play, and Kelly Olynyk jacks up an ugly-looking three, and we're headed to overtime. Overtime was a dominating effort by the big man. Not that it should be surprising at all, but it's almost mesmerizing. It's about that step that we are looking for. There's plenty of times where Joel Embiid has just taken over a game, and I always say this when Embiid does his thing. Let's look at the other side. Is there any sort of option for that team to stop him? No, not really. Would Bam really one-on-one be able to stop Joel Embiid? No, not at all. Absolutely not. But there wasn't even close to talent enough to be able to really give them any sort of fight based off of the COVID-19 protocols and the health and safety protocols, which is absolutely destroying the product of the NBA. It's so funny that the league is already moving the TNT matchup on Thursday. So what you're saying is, we know this is garbage. We know this is awful. We don't even want anyone to see this other than the people in the market. So besides the Sixers fans and the Heat fans, we don't want a damn soul touching this basketball game, yet you continue to force these people to play. It really is a joke what they're doing right now. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm impressed by Joel Embiid's performance, but we do need to register what was available for the Miami Heat in this game as well. By the way, we are broadcasting from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I mentioned Danny Green hitting some shots. Mike Scott hit some shots as well, even though it happened earlier in the game. Things died out for him, but it was nice to see at least Mike Scott have some sort of spurt that was successful, because he's trying to find himself and find his rhythm coming off of the injury that left him off the court for quite some time. Danny Green, it's crazy. He was unbelievable, and he was knocking down shots at will, but last night he couldn't buy a bucket. If these two nights do not just tell you exactly what Danny Green is, well, then you're foolish for not recognizing it. One night, red hot, lethal, some guy who is just incapable of missing, and then the previous night, it's this guy can't buy a bucket. He's wide open. You can't get any more open looks than that, and it's brick, 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 brick. So let's just pray when the big moments happen. That's when Danny Green puts together a performance like this one. Isaiah Joe is very interesting. So I talked about this before. I liked Isaiah Joe, and I somewhat compared it to Shake Milton. When you watch him play, you know that he has something that absolutely relates to NBA basketball. He can do it. But before all the COVID-19 stuff happened with the Sixers, I didn't know how much time he can possibly find. Now that he had these moments to prove to the coach, hey, I deserve more, well, that's a different scenario. But before this ever happened, I just questioned, when is he ever going to find time? And I know he has something in there. Would it benefit him to at least play, get run, put up shots, and battle more, log in more minutes in the G League? Shake Milton played in the G League and then developed, but now I think he's made a case where I deserve legitimate minutes. And I've been saying this for a little bit of time now with Furkan Korkmaz out, even though they're saying that he's inching closer to returning. Can Isaiah Joe snag some minutes from Furkan Korkmaz? Is he weaving his way down the bench, down the bench, down the bench, down the bench, out of the organization, out of the organization, out of the organization, out of my face forever, out of the league? I hope so. I hope so one day. That's not nice. Why do I have to do that? Why do I have to take it to the extreme? I should settle down. But Isaiah Joe, yeah, my philosophy was I think he can play. He just needs to get more time, work on some things, get more run. If he's going to be one of those guys that just sits at the end of the bench, wouldn't it be more beneficial to actually play basketball games? And I'm not devaluing what it's like to be on the sidelines, listen to the head coach, watch some film, learn from the players on the team at the NBA level, and being courtside even when other guys, let's say you play a team that has sharp shooters. Okay, what do they do? Not even other teams, right? Danny Green. What can you learn from Danny Green, Seth Curry? I'm not devaluing that at all, but I thought more of a Shake Milton approach. But this kid is absolutely growing on me as he continues to knock down the shots, as he continues to create the spacing for others around him. Sometimes it's just the fact that they know Isaiah Joe can knock down the three, so that allows the Sixers to operate in space in other areas. Keep your eye out on Isaiah Joe. He's impressing every single time. All right, so the overtime. 9 straight points at one point for Embiid. It could have even been more. I lost count after 9. Knocking down the free throws. I stress this so much, and I just want to continue to do it. No big man at 7 feet tall continues to drain them like he does. It's automatic. It's automatic. That's not a reality. That's not a realistic thing. That is absurd, really. I mean, it's such an outlier for Joel Embiid to constantly see the charity stripe. Give me the ball. Give me the damn ball. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. Nothing but net. Crucial moments. It doesn't even matter when it happens. Second quarter with 3 minutes to go. Third quarter, 4 minutes to go. Fourth quarter, 50 seconds to go in a 1-point game. I'm just throwing out random scenarios. My point is, your star player absolutely is known to drill it, willing to drill it, wants to drill it. Nonchalantly. It's incredible. But he goes on that run, and I'm dead serious. There was a time where he's dribbling the basketball. He feels 3 defenders on him. So what does he do? Oh, it's simple. Takes a deep-ass mid-range J in all of their faces, and it hits nothing but net with ease. And he was constantly doing it up the floor. There's times where he's driving the paint, penetrating. 2 defenders are jumping up in the air. He's falling backwards, and he throws it up, and it's like a looping shot that goes in. And 1. How do you stop this, man? You can't. And it all ended up going in the hands of the one and only, not Kevin Durant, not LeBron James, not Tim Duncan, not Steph Curry, not Shaquille O'Neal, not Kobe Bryant. That's right. Dakota Mathias! Oh, man, what? I mean, I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. The ball's hitting the brick, right? It's hitting the brick. It is a brick. It's hitting the side of the rim. You're getting the rebound. You're kicking it out. Mathias for 3! Yes! What? What am I watching? Oh, seriously. It's like the best way to describe it. It's one of those games where you should have never in a million years been in those circumstances. But it was wild, and it was like so highly entertaining because you couldn't believe it. You're laughing in pain because it's miserable, yet it's the beauty of sports, right? I mean, you can't make that stuff up. If you were to draw up how this game would end, no one in their right mind would say Mathias for 3 for his first shot of the game that goes down. Are you kidding me? It was big, though. It was big for the big man. It was big for his growth. Doc Rivers said one of the adjustments they made later in the overtime period was getting Joel Embiid the ball up top so then he can kind of see where the trap is coming. So he gets the basketball, all right, he sees what the Miami Heat are going to do, and then from there he operates and does what he wants, whether he's going to attack the lane to the left, whether he's going to try and Euro step, whether he's just going to take a shot off the dribble, or if he's going to find one of his open teammates. Get the ball up high and then see what the opponent is going to do, adjust from there in game, right? All right, Embiid, I trust you to make the proper move. I trust you to feel that moment, feel what the defense is giving you, And from there, go to town. Go to work. Do what Joel Embiid does. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. I'll get to him in 1 second. First, let's hear a word from my sponsors at DraftKings. While the holiday season may be over, the sports calendar is in full swing this week. From collegiate to professional sports, there's no shortage of action, and there's no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings Sportsbook. To celebrate this year's football playoffs, DraftKings is giving all new players the chance to bet on any of this weekend's professional football games at 100-1 odds. That's right, all you have to do is bet $1 on any football game this weekend, and if your team wins, you cash $100. While we're all excited for football, let's not forget the 2021 basketball season has tipped off, and there are daily odds boosts every day. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Brodes when you sign up to get 100-1 odds on any football game this weekend. That's code Brodes for new players to get a shot at $100 on any football action this weekend. For a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. Restrictions apply in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Ben Simmons, he just flat out sucked in this basketball game. And it makes me want to pull my damn hair out. And right now, as you can see, I'm loving my hair. I got the samurai going. I got it's not a man bun. It's the samurai high up top with the lettuce just flowing in the wind down low, which is one of my iconic looks. And there's a reason why the nickname back in my prime was Flosy O'Donnell, sort of like Rosie O'Donnell. But I'm sure some of the young ones don't even know who the hell that is. So if I'm ripping this bad boy out throughout the game, it's really irking me. I do not care about the 12 assists because I know what he does. I know that's what he can do. It's about adding to those 12 assists. He's steadily going to give you 7 to 10-ish, 7 to 11 assists per game, right? That's what he does. He's going to do that for you. You can't be turning the ball over in the way that you were. No one's on the other side, Ben. It's not as if you have these elite defenders. Take over. How are you not going to be explosive and go downhill and attack the rim? Why? Why, Ben? Why? More offensively. That was seriously pathetic. How many times is he going to go full speed, stop, and then wait? Right? I mean, he's kicking the ball out. All right, and guys are wide open for three at times. So it's frustrating, but if it's a play that gets you a good look from three, from a Danny Green or from a Isaiah Joe, I can live with it. But there's one that stands out to me so heavily. Here he goes. He's dribbling up the floor. He gets to the free throw line. Stops. Doesn't even look at the rim. Not one time. And here he is looking for someone to come around. Ben, shoot the ball or attack the rim. That was bad, and it was on display nonstop. Ben Simmons looked lost. Don't sell me it's a knee problem. It's not a knee problem because I saw him run full speed, kick out just fine. I saw him play the game in ways that he feels comfortable just fine. I'm not buying the knee problem. I'm just not. That's not why he was unwilling tonight. That's not why he looked lost tonight. It's not. This is what Ben Simmons has provided this season. Joel Embiid's got to be furious. Thinking, Ben, when are you going to grow up, dude? Huh? When are you going to take that next step to help me out? Because I'm sick and tired of this. Although I'm sure he's not, right? I'm sure he's just enjoying every moment of those mid-range J's right in the face of everyone. I loved it right off the dribble. Oh, it was great. So I'm sure he's loving being the man and having all the recognition. But it's not sustainable long term. If you're relying on Embiid to give you a 45, it's not a reality. You need other guys to step up. You need help. Danny Green was tonight. But you're going to need it from Ben Simmons. You really are. You just are. Can't have it. Putting your team in bad situations. I talked about down the stretch in the fourth quarter, 2 field goals in 7 minutes. Well, when you're handing the ball off to Tyrese Maxey, a rookie with 5 fouls, that's going to be it. I mean, that's going to be the outcome. And Ben was a part of that issue prior. It's crazy. That 7.1 second shot that Joel Embiid had, that was the second in a 7-minute span. And how about this? I know guys are young. I know guys are learning, and it's the end of the bench playing a lot of minutes. How many times are we going to foul a three-point shooter and give them a 4-point play? Unacceptable. That's not disciplined. And Isaiah Joe, everyone bitching and complaining about Isaiah Joe's shot, not his shot, but the way he was defending at the end for the 3-point shot that was fouled on with Duncan Robinson. Why are you even there? Your hand touched his hip. That was a foul. That was a foul. That was a foul. Do not even put yourself in that situation where we can even have the debate if that was a reasonable call or not. I don't care what referee called it. It was a foul. All right? So that happened like 5 times, man. Silver was grabbing offensive boards at will. Tyler Hero was getting into that mid-range game, into the paint for his somewhat step-back jumper at the mid-range level. He was knocking those down. He was incredible. He was keeping the Miami Heat into it. I'm starting to get a little concerned with some of the defense, though, by the Sixers, and I know who's out there, but sometimes it's coming from the top guys. Sometimes it's coming from the top dogs that you expect more out of. Sometimes the defense just gets shelled and abused, and it's not a pleasing sight. It really isn't. All right, so we're going to take some anytime hotline calls. Before we do, I need to let you guys know about Sided. Sided has an outstanding app. It is incredible, and it's pretty much a debate app. I have my link in the description, so you can go check it out. I just put up a question about Joel Embiid. Is Joel Embiid a serious MVP candidate? They give away gift cards. They give away prizes. It's a no-brainer to head on over. Download their free mobile app and start debating, start commenting, start voting. It's a really, really fun app to dive into when you're watching games, scroll through the sports section, see what others are thinking, see what question other people are asking. I find myself getting sucked into it nonstop. It's super fun. All right, the Anytime Hotline. Here we go.
Wow, bro, that was a hell of a game right there. Hell of a game. Joel Embiid is by far the best player on the team. It's not even a debate anymore. Simmons had more fouls than points. Not getting surprised by this at this point. Fun game, but I really hope they make a big move before it's too late. This guy is he's the most frustrated basketball player I've ever seen in my life. Embiid's putting the offense on his back, and Simmons is barely trying to get 15 points. Enough is enough. Make the damn trade.
Look, you can argue that the more and more he plays, it's losing trade value to the point where do the Houston Rockets even want Ben Simmons if this is what he's trotting out there? If you're not going to do it against scrubs, and look, not everyone on the Heat were scrubs, but when they're playing minutes that they shouldn't be, and when Jimmy Butler and Bam and Dragic isn't there, like it changes the entire momentum of the team, and it changes who they are and their identity. If you're unwilling to really attack and have that mentality of I'm going to dominate in this type of setting, how are you going to do it when there's others on the court? And don't tell me that he's going to want to one-up a top dog on an opposing squad as if they're playing the Greek Freak. He's going to want to really show who he is, because that's nonsense. You would do that against bad players as well. You would do that when other teams don't have their top opponents as well. He's so inconsistent. He's just unwilling to really be in an offensive mindset. And I hate to break it to you, no matter what the outcome is, it's flat out garbage. It's what it is. It's garbage. It will not be beneficial enough for this team to succeed long term. Defense, assists, facilitating. I got it. I'm one of his biggest supporters. Enough is enough. Now, this call is about the Sixers, but it looks like there's a transcript. It almost texts me, not text me personally, but text the platform that I use what is said. So this might have been an in-game call, and it kind of looks like it'll be pretty funny. So I'm going to take this in-game call real quick.
The only thing I gotta say is Benson and...
Ah, damn it. That's my fault. I apologize.
The only thing I gotta say is Benson and needs 2 more innings. I hate it when Embiid likes to take jump shots way too often. He needs to get into the post. He would average 30 a game if he would just take jump shots every game, or if he would just take layups every game and drive to the basket and get from them to the basket. He settles for fadeaways and jump shots way too often, and it's really starting to aggravate me.
Yeah, I thought that's what that said. I saw something about Joel Embiid not doing this. Oh, yeah? Joel Embiid was lethal. Joel Embiid is that great as a 7-footer. This narrative that all he can do is bang down low, I just can't stand it. They would say the same to Brett Brown. Oh, you gotta get him on the low block. The guy led the league last year in posting up. That's what he did. If you take away the three-point shooting from Joel Embiid, if you take away his face-up game and how he operates with the ball in his hands, with a defender in his face taking mid-range jumpers, you're taking away how lethal he really is. Now, he started out slow in this game. He didn't get his first field goal until about 10 minutes or so into the game. It took a long time for him to really get his swag, and that's when he had that 20-point performance in the third quarter alone, going 8 for 8 from the field. So he was explosive once he dialed in mentally in the right way. But come on, I mean, how can you knock the mid-range jumper ability? To act as if in this era of basketball, the only way you can use the center is that, it's a joke. Look at what Jokic does. I mean, everyone talks about, oh, Jokic is better, Anthony Davis is better, this guy's better. They're not in the low block. Like, that's not what it is. There's times where it is more necessary than others. There's times where it is very useful, and it is a tactic that needs to happen because your team can't score, because they're struggling. You know it'll be an easy bucket. Hey, make sure you just go get a bucket. You can do it depending on the matchup. But he took too many. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why you won this damn game, was because of his mid-range J. So I thought I saw something like that in the transcript. That's why I kind of wanted to play it out loud, and I was right. I don't hear that often. Brodes, you were right. No, that doesn't come out of people's mouths very often. It's not fair. I am right at times, people. But of course, you only get criticized when you're wrong. It's a tough business.
Hey, Brodes. I have no idea what to say after that monster performance by Joel Embiid. If he's not the MVP frontrunner in some people's minds right now, I don't know what's up. That was insane. He willed us that win. Without him, we had no chance in that. Playing Dakota Mathias and Isaiah Joe in overtime, he willed our team to the win. I'm so happy about that.
I think that's a great way to explain it. He willed this team. He was the emotional leader. He was the big-time leader. And he was the guy saying, fellas, follow my lead. Hey, young kids, this is what it takes. This is what you do. Now, Embiid's not to the level of LeBron James saying that to others, but you can tell that there is a little bit of a difference when it comes to who Joel Embiid is this season and what we've seen in the past. There is that little bit of a jump that I'm really looking for out of Embiid. Is it exactly where it needs to be? I don't think it's where it needs to be, but it's enough of a jump that satisfies me. That is where I stand when it comes to growth in players. I'm seeing enough where I am absolutely intrigued. For Ben Simmons, I always say, I just need something. Give me something to hold on to. He's not giving me a damn thing. He's giving me nothing. Nothing. Give me enough to satisfy me to say, Ben, I see it. I see it. There's no way I'm the only one that feels this way.
Brodes, it is really no wonder that Joel Embiid is always missing games with back problems, because he absolutely carried the team tonight. That was so impressive down the stretch. In overtime, the dude could not miss a shot. I can't believe it. If you go down the stretch of that game, he was carrying a team of G-Leaguers against the Miami Heat. To be fair, the Miami Heat didn't have a lot of other guys, but I don't even care at this point. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen from him. Yeah, that's so crazy. 45 points. I'm so pumped right now.
I love how he did it in so many different ways. The contact, penetrating, the Euro stepping. I mean, I think I mentioned how he did it from just the mid-range game 3,482 times to this point. And even when he drawed a triple team, a double team, he got his teammates wide open. He was able to hit a Danny Green. He was able to hit an Isaiah Joe. He was able to get his teammates in the mix because, well, you can't let Joel Embiid just work you to death. You can't allow for this man to just lethally destroy you left and right. So, well, let's pass it up. You can see the difference in spacing at times when Isaiah Joe, Danny Green is out there compared to when, well, they have a bunch of guys that it doesn't really have that spacing. By the way, I don't know why I randomly thought about this, but Dwight Howard with the block, with his blocking in general, I should say, got a pretty big milestone, jumping over Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace. Good old Detroit Pistons. I got a buddy who's a huge Detroit fan, and he always sends me the intro from that squad that won it all. The intros are actually kind of fire, I'm not going to lie. I don't know how I'm getting so sidetracked. Look, I was definitely having some fun watching this game. I think that's the moral of the story. And I've had a couple rough days where I've just been mentally exhausted. Doug Peterson this and the radio show and breaking news. Oh, man, I was just all over the place. I got stopped for a speeding ticket. It was nonstop stuff for like 48 hours. I was just so mentally drained. I needed this. I needed to sit down, have a nice Pepsi. I didn't go Cup of Joe. I went Pepsi and enjoyed the game. So I had some fun. I just want to let you guys know about my friends over at Orbit Energy and Power. And with over 20 years of experience in the solar industry, they're home to your solar experts in both residential and commercial projects. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. They offer flexible financing solutions such as $0 down. In addition, they will make sure that you receive all the state and federal incentives available for switching to solar. There's no risk and no need for investment. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So check out their information. It is all down below. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time.